If you've ever been here in Times Square to celebrate New Year's Eve or watched it on television, you know all about the long wait, the cold long wait for the countdown, often without access to a bathroom, standing next to perfect strangers. This year, that's all going to change, somewhat, thanks to COVID.
Rules, policies, and plans are changing every day in what was supposed to be a return to normalcy in 2021, in what will ultimately be one of the last decisions carried out during his time as mayor of New York City. Bill de Blasio says this year's New Year's Eve celebration in Times Square will be scaled back thanks to COVID. In light of rising case numbers, the mayor says revelers will need to wear masks at all times, even while they are standing outside to celebrate in Times Square. Additionally, the crowd will be much smaller than in previous years, with the max crowd capacity limit dropping from roughly 58,000 people all the way down to 15,000 people. Finally, the crowds will not be allowed to show up until 3 p.m. this year, which is much later than in previous years. And as has always been the case, you will need to be fully vaccinated. Tom Harris is president of the Times Square Alliance.
In your opinion, how are these changes going to affect the celebrations?
So we're very excited to safely welcome people to Times Square, and it was very important for the mayor and for the organizers of the event to find that safe way to invite revelers to Times Square to celebrate New Year's Eve in Times Square.
The reality, however, is that tens of thousands of people likely just had a giant wrench thrown into their New Year's Eve plans.
If it's gonna be harder to come, then maybe we'll just stay home.
I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
You did.
Well, thanks. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
Helena Nat, executive director of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, remains optimistic. She hopes the roughly 43,000 people who won't be allowed into Times Square will still have the appetite to eat and drink their way into 2022.
There's going to be 43,000 people walking around New York City. So instead of going to Times Square, go into your favorite or local bar or your restaurant. There's plenty of places to be socially distanced.
Tom Harris says he and his staff will be working closely with the NYPD and other city agencies to adjust to any logistical changes, but he acknowledges the night should be more manageable thanks to a significantly smaller crowd that will be here in Times Square. In Times Square, Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.